What's up, world? I'm JaySwann. You watching my sit down with ForwardThinking, and today we're gonna be talking about my new album, Booty Bass and Beyond, as well as what the people really want to know. Anybody that knows me in real life, like I'm a very unserious person. Like in fact, I don't take anything serious at all. Like I'm a motherfucker that's gonna laugh and joke. So I feel like let's just fucking name the album Booty Bass and Beyond. Like why not? I feel like the shit is just, I really like art that's like good, but also doesn't take itself too serious. And I feel like that's a big part of my brand. It was, damn, what's the original song? The flip is called Sexual, it's by Ghost Whip. That was really my first introduction into like Miami bass and like booty bass music. And I was like, yo, like I love this shit. And me being in Baltimore, that's not really a genre that gets played out a lot here. Everybody loves club. And I mean, I love club too. Like I'm no stranger to making club and playing club, but I kind of felt like, oh, this is a lane that I feel like I could hop into and not to be on some like appropriative shit, but it's just like a style of art that I just really love and really appreciate. And I felt like, oh, I can put my own spin like on this and turn it into something of my own. And I feel like that was my goal with Booty Bass Infinity. I feel like even going into the first album, I kind of knew that like I wanted this to be a series. Booty Bass and Beyond, it's all original music, albeit there are a lot of samples. I would say 40% of it I made on my Electron Dig Attacked, and 60% of it I made inside my DAW. As far as who it was inspired by, honestly, like I feel like I'm inspired mostly by like my friends, like my homies, like my DJ friends, my artist friends, like Kadeem Lamar, who else? Tromac. I fuck with Junk Food, Robert Ranks. Yeah, I feel like, and I mean that's really just to name a few, but ultimately I feel like I'm mainly inspired by the people who I'm surrounded by. But as far as like sound goes, like that's all coming from up here. So I guess that's how I got here. That's a long-winded way of explaining how I got here. My two favorite tracks off the album is gonna be Midnight Hotline and it's gonna be Leg Day. Midnight Hotline, I honestly think that's like one of the best songs I've ever made. Leg Day is also one of the best songs I've ever made, but for different reasons. And really Hadaya, shout out to Hadaya Odeli, she brought life to it. And it's funny because that song, it almost didn't happen actually. Cause I remember like working on the album, I was like, man, I would love to get a singer on at least like one or two of these songs. But I guess I was having a hard time like finding somebody who would like match what I would want to accomplish. And then what ended up happening was me and Hadaya, we both did a benefit show in January and I seen her perform. Now granted, I was already familiar with Hadaya, like we was already like familiar with each other, but I was just like, fuck, like she's dope, like her ass can sing. So we ended up kind of talking after the show. I was just like, hey, I'm working on this project and I would really like to get you on there. Like, you're talented as fuck. And I feel like she'd be really cool to work with. So she was just like, yeah, for sure. Like, send me some beats. So I ended up making a beat and I wanted it to cater to her. So Hadaya doesn't make a lot of upbeat like dance shit. She's more like R&B, like jazzy R&B. So I wanted to come up with a beat that caters to her, but still kind of like brings her into my world a little bit. And I was at a point where I'm kind of finalizing the album, so I check in with her and I'm just like, hey, did you ever like come up with anything for this? And she was having a bit of a hard time like writing to the song. So I was kind of just like, maybe this probably isn't going to make the album. Maybe it's something that we could drop later. Maybe it doesn't come out at all. And, that's okay, because that happens. So I'm getting all the tracks together, and I'm really at a point where I'm finalizing everything. And then, like, right at the buzzer, she sends me the reference for what's Leg Day Now. And I loved it immediately. Like, I played this shit, like, 10 times back to back. I was like, yo, we need to go to the studio like yesterday. And I think we actually did end up going to the studio like 4 days after she had sent it to me. But I was like, yo, this shit is great. And shout out Hadayash. I think we only did like 2 or 3 takes. She knocked it out. No auto-tune. It's all her. She's a very strong natural singer. And it's really important to me that a song like this was made by 2 artists who are from Baltimore, because it kind of just shows how versatile and dynamic the city is. Speaker Anthem was inspired by a trip to New York that I took back in November. Sorry. Back in November, yeah. So it was my homie's birthday. We had all kind of planned a trip. I was DJing at this bar in Bushwick. It wasn't nothing crazy. It was just like a cool little bar night. All of us was hanging out there. Some of my other friends was also on the bill as well. So we doing our shit. It's the end of the night. 2 a.m. hits, and the bar closes. But you know, obviously, it's like we in New York. We outside. Granted, it was November, and it was cold as fuck. It had to have been like 20, 30ish degrees. No. It was closer. It was like 20s. Early teens. It was cold. It was break. But we outside though. You know, it's like, yo, we in Brooklyn. Like, it don't matter that we at 2 a.m. Like, nobody's trying to end the night at 2 a.m. So, my homie Tro was DJing at this other bar like 10 minutes down the way. And they were going until 4. So we all kind of just popped over there. At first we get there. Now, granted, there's like a big group of people. And so when we get there, we're all trying to figure out how we about to get in, because everybody wants to go in, but nobody's trying to pay this cover. And then Tro was like, you know, like, I could get probably a handful of y'all in there, but everybody not gonna go. I was one of the blessed and chosen few that was able to get into this club. And me and my boy, we walk in there. And immediately, as soon as we go into this spot, we're like, bro, this shit is not it. Now, granted, like, there was a lot of people there, and the music was great. I forgot who was on. It was somebody that I do enjoy. But we walk in there, and it's just like, bro, it just looked like Zombieland. First of all, it was stank. It was musty as fuck. It's foggy as shit. Like, you can't see anywhere. You can't see anything. And it just felt like ominous, bro. Like, you know how like in the Scary Movie when like they walk into a room and they just like, nah, like some shit is wrong. That was the vibe that we had going into this club. And we had to have been there for all of like 3 minutes before we just got the fuck out. The rest of our group who wasn't able to go in, they end up going to this bar that's like on the corner from where we was at. We was like, yo, let's just go meet them in there. And that's where we ended the night. Throughout the middle of the night, like I would hear, like I heard like commotion. I didn't really know what was going on, but like I said, I was fucked up. I was ready to call it. So I remember I woke up at about 8 a.m. that next morning. I look at his story. He posted about 16 minutes prior to me watching this story. This thing was at the club. I woke up at 8 a.m. He posted this story 16 minutes ago of him at the club, and that shit looked like Resident Evil, dog. Like, it was just kind of similar to the last spot. Like, I just remember it was like foggy, but then it was fucked up because like the sun was up, and like there's still like people dancing, but they kind of just look like zombies or like puppets or like robots or some shit like that. Like, it was genuinely scary. And I was just like, yo, like, are you, like you're still out? Like, did you ever, because when we all came back to the crib, like we got back at the same time. So I'm just confused as to like, how am I waking up? And it's just like, nah, like you just now leaving the club. So anyway, it was definitely a very strange time. There's something dystopian about partying in New York while it's that cold out, because like everybody is still cold, but it's just like that cold was aggressive. Like it was like windy, like not a vibe at all. Now I love New York in the summertime. Like please get me out there in the summer. But I feel like when it's like cold and like dark and like depressing out, it's just something like a little just wrong about just like staying out and partying all night. Like it just feels weird. By the time the trip was over, it's time to go home. On the way back home, that's kind of where I developed the concept for Geeker Anthem, or just like the hook, where it's just drugs in the club. Like, I don't know, she just popped in my head. Sometimes when I'm working on a song, it'll be like one of two things. Either I'll go into it with a direct concept and a explicit idea for what I want to accomplish, or it's the complete opposite, where I'm just like, I don't know what I'm about to make, but I know that I want to make something. But that in particular night, I had an idea and I was like, yo, I need to make some art about this evening. It was very weird. It was a very weird time. Buzz Lightyear, yeah, he's my cousin. Low key, like on some, like, you know how like for black people it's just be like, you be having cousins that's not really your cousins, but like Buzz Lightyear is like that. That's my cousin. That's crazy. You know him?
We go way back. We went to high school together.
He went to high school with that nigga. Yeah, I can only imagine what he was like back then.
Nigga was a bully.
That nigga sucked probably.
And a Zionist.
No motion either. You know, no free promo, but you know, you got Auto Bar, you got Royal Blue. There's always just like a good ass DJ DJing somewhere, regardless of any weekend that you out here. So I think our nightlife is comparable to, you know, one of the big dogs like New York or LA. I mean, granted, shit don't stay open all night out here. Probably for safety, it's probably better that way. But the nightlife in Baltimore is special, and I've had some really, really memorable nights here. In Florida, in Miami, at the end of August, I'm gonna be at my favorite club in Miami, Zay Zay. If you're gonna be in the area, pull up. I'm gonna be out there August 29th. I think Airs the Planet is performing at that. My boy Sleek Juice. Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fucking fun. And I love Miami. Shout out Miami. It's my favorite city to visit. One of my favorite cities to DJ in. I'm thankful to DJ out there again. Yeah, I'm Florida man for real. I'm Baltimore, Florida man.